8 untold reasons why you don't visit around anymore. When you were younger, it seemed like friendships were everywhere and social events were key to your happiness. You were always looking to meet new people and join in on gatherings because they gave you a sense of belonging. As you grow older, your view on socializing often changes. You begin to value deep, meaningful relationships more than having a large number of friends. Over time, you come to prefer spending quality time with a few close friends who genuinely understand you. The fun of making new connections doesn't disappear, but it becomes less important compared to the joy of nurturing deeper, more satisfying relationships. There's also something you need to know about the comfort of familiarity. As you age, you often find great comfort in familiar places and people. When you were younger, hosting parties and attending events was exciting, and it felt like a must-do part of life. However, with time, you begin to appreciate the simple joys of being at home and enjoying routine activities. You start to see that real happiness comes from deep, meaningful interactions rather than constantly socializing. Your home becomes your safe and happy place where you find peace and contentment. The energy and effort required to maintain a busy social calendar starts to feel less worthwhile compared to the tranquility and satisfaction of spending time in a familiar environment. This shift isn't just about rejecting social life, it's about finding greater joy in the comfort and stability of your own space. And let's not forget about the burden of social expectations. Social expectations can feel like a heavy weight on your shoulders. When you were younger, there was always pressure to fit in and follow the crowd. You felt like you had to meet certain social standards to be accepted. As you get older, you start to see through these expectations and realize that many social interactions are more about fulfilling obligations than forming genuine connections. Martin Luther King Jr. wisely said, "In the end, you will remember not the words of your enemies, but the silence of your friends." This silence is a sign that some relationships are not as fulfilling as they seem. It reminds you that sometimes the most significant aspect of a friendship is not what is said, but what isn't said. As you grow older, you begin to focus more on building authentic relationships that truly matter to you, rather than trying to meet societal expectations. Another reason is the complexity of social dynamics. Dealing with social dynamics can be complex and exhausting. Each social interaction requires you to manage different personalities and meet various expectations, which can become increasingly tiring over time. As you age, the effort to juggle multiple social interactions can become overwhelming. You might prefer to keep your social circle small and manageable, focusing on a few meaningful relationships rather than trying to maintain numerous connections. This choice helps reduce stress and brings a sense of calm. It's not that you dislike socializing, but you often find that simplifying your social life leads to greater peace and contentment. Another untold reason is the shifting lifestyle preferences. As you move through life, your interests and lifestyle preferences naturally change. Activities that once excited you might not seem as appealing anymore. Oscar Wilde once said, "I have nothing to declare except my genius," which hints at focusing on what truly matters to you personally. In your younger years, you might have thrived on a busy social event schedule and constant activity. However, as you age, you often find that quieter, more personal activities bring you greater satisfaction. Simple pleasures like reading a good book, tending to a garden, or enjoying time with family can become more meaningful. The busy social gatherings that once filled your calendars may start to feel less important compared to the peaceful moments spent doing things you love. The writer Anne Lamott put it well. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. This quote reminds you that sometimes stepping back from the hustle and bustle can lead to a more fulfilling life. You begin to cherish these calm, reflective activities that align with your evolving tastes and offer you a deeper sense of contentment. When you thought you had already heard the best, you need to hear me out about balancing relationships. Keeping up with relationships can become increasingly complex as you get older. Helen Keller's words, "Alone you can do so little, together you can do so much," emphasize the importance of relationships, but also the effort needed to nurture them. While relationships are vital, managing multiple friendships can become overwhelming. The emotional effort required to keep up with many people often outweighs the benefits. Instead, you may find that focusing on a smaller circle of close friends and family is more fulfilling. This shift allows you to develop deeper, more meaningful connections without the stress of juggling numerous relationships. The poet John Donne once said, "No man is an island," reminding you that while you need relationships, the quality of those connections often matters more than the quantity. By prioritizing your closest relationships, you can enjoy more genuine and satisfying interactions. This approach helps you create a balanced and peaceful social life where you invest your energy in the relationships that truly matter. It's about finding joy in meaningful connections and appreciating the simpler, more intimate moments with those who matter most. In doing so, you often find that your social life becomes more rewarding and less stressful. But this is nothing compared to what I'm going to tell you next about the role of social media. Social media has completely changed how you interact with people. It lets you stay connected, but often gives a false impression of closeness. Alain de Botton once said, "The more you make use of the internet, the more your expectations of love, sex, and friendship are corrupted by the harsh reality of real life." This quote highlights how social media can make you expect more from online interactions than they can actually provide. While it is great for quick updates and keeping in touch, social media often lacks the depth of face-to-face conversations. For example, scrolling through posts and photos can make you feel like you're engaged with others, but it often misses the emotional connection you get from real-life interactions. As you grow older, you might start to value in-person conversations more because they offer genuine connections that social media can't match. My favorite untold reason is realizing true friendship. As you get older, you develop a better understanding of what real friendship means. Over time, you learn that many connections you once thought were important are actually quite shallow. You start to see that true friendship is not about having a lot of friends, but about having a few who really understand you and share your values. As you become more aware of what makes a real friend, you naturally begin to focus on nurturing these deeper relationships. This often means you might visit social events less often, preferring instead to spend time with the people who truly matter. True friendship becomes about quality and genuine connection rather than simply filling a social calendar. By understanding this, you create a more satisfying and peaceful social life, where the effort you put into relationships is truly rewarding. Hey, if you think this video was great, then this video on the right-hand side will give you even more valuable information.